Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and coming up in today's bulletin, damage at Split Apple, volunteers required for cricket, historic retail outlet under threat, and much more. An elderly cyclist has died after coming off his bike on the picturesque Gentle Annie Hill north of Nelson around 8:30 a.m. Tuesday morning. The unnamed man, aged in his 70s, was found in a serious condition on State Highway 6. St John ambulance staff performed CPR on the man, but he died at the scene. The cause of death was not yet known, but it was looking likely he had suffered a medical event. Police would like to hear from anyone who saw the man's fall. Summer has been soured for some by the actions of a few. Last Friday, damage was discovered by the Kaitiritiri property owner on a public track leading to the beach at Split Apple Rock. The damage was recent and would have only occurred within a few days of the discovery.
9th of January 2015 on the Split Apple track, and come across quite a lot of damage today. Somebody who's mindlessly hacked away at the handrails, making it nice and splintery for people's hands, all the way up, hack, hack, hack. Really quite upset about that. I can't understand people coming to this beautiful part of the world to just ruin it for other people. Here's another one. They just don't care. Ignorance, selfish behaviour. So the whole of that walkway has had bits mucked out of it, and all the way down to Split Apple Bay, trees have been hacked and bashed and broken.
Terry Everett, who discovered the senseless damage, told Chrissy Small that this holiday period has seen bedlam in Kaitiritiri, with her family finding toilet rolls and faeces in their driveway from inconsiderate people. She said this year she believes the attitude of people has been terrible.
Terry Everett, you're a resident of Kaitiritiri, and you were the one that discovered all this damage down at Split Apple Rock. What were your feelings?
Really disappointed, because we do have some property down there, and part of the track is on our property, but it's obviously managed by the council, and they've put some really beautiful steps down there just last winter. An awful lot of work went into that, and as I walked down, the first hack I saw in the handrail was kind of a disappointment, and honestly by the time I got down to the bottom to see the damage that had been made by some very selfish person it really ruined my day, and it's made me angry.
So this track goes actually onto your property, so you've allowed the public to have access through your property to get to Split Apple Rock? Yeah,
it's got a right of way through there.
Right. Okay. So now the damage wasn't just to the handrails of the walkway; it was also to some of the trees, wasn't it?
Yeah. Quite a lot of the young trees that are sort of being encouraged to grow up have been. Some have just been slightly hacked, and others have been cut right the way through. It looks like either a machete or a small axe or something has been used. And there's a beautiful old tree that the council left. People have to stoop under it to get under it, but they left it there just because it's a beautiful old tree, and that was damaged as well. I have to say also this summer we've noticed an awful lot more rubbish, people leaving cans and plastic bags, which are really dangerous to our wildlife on the beach. And to me it's not just something that's dropped out of your pocket, it's something that people have sat there all day, they've left their cigarette butts there, and they've left their bags that they brought their food down in, and they can't be bothered to take them back up the hill.
Terry, do you think this is local people doing this, or is this just people travelling into the area?
Well, the beautiful thing about car wrapping is that people advertise their company name, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there are some local companies that are using that car park and obviously using the beach, so I can't say it's all holiday makers. I can't believe for a minute it could possibly be a local person that would have hacked those trees. That would really be extremely disappointing. I don't know. Obviously, there's an excess of holidaymakers there. The Split Apple car park is extremely overutilised. People are being pretty silly about it, and that, you know, there's obviously other car stickers and things from other places like Christchurch and further afield, and so I think it's just a general mentality that people have planned their day on the beach, and if you're in the way of it, then, you know, they're going to park in where they feel like parking, even if it blocks someone's driveway.
I believe that happened to you.
It did, yes. Our day was completely scuppered because we couldn't get through our driveway because someone parked in front of it when there's great big yellow lines there. You know, we all know what the rules of the road is. So again, it's just bad behaviour.
Right. So there's this summer's been, well, it's obviously shown people at their worst, really, for the area. Terry, now unwanted parcels have been left on your driveway as well, haven't they?
Yes.
So
a public drop loo at the bottom of the walkway, which again is council run, that's there for everybody's convenience. But it seems to be that there are members of the public who either can't be bothered to walk down there, or I don't know what their reasoning is, but I can't believe there's a person in the world who would be happy to find faeces and used toilet roll and nappies on their driveway. And so again, it's just selfishness, you know. Do unto those that you would want to be done to you, and I certainly wouldn't be doing it in somebody's driveway. You know, if you get caught short, you get caught short. Find a plastic bag, put it in it, and find a proper place to dispose of it. Don't leave it on people's or on public land. Don't leave it anywhere other than a toilet.
No, well, it's a health hazard, isn't it? It's pretty basic.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that, you know, a lot of people use these beautiful areas and enjoy it, and they use it respectfully. When you walk onto a beauty spot like the Split Apple, you know, that's what you want to be thinking about. It's about relaxation. It's about really taking in the beauty that Tasman offers and enjoying the day. And when you walk down that walkway and you see, you know, people's feces, people's rubbish, people hacking at the handrails and the trees, you know, it just puts you in the wrong mental headspace for the whole point of going down there.
No,
and I think that's really sad.
It's not a good advertisement for the region, is it?
Well, not really, no.
No. Well, Terry Everett, look, I hope that next summer brings better people in your area, and I hope
I hope so. Well, there'll be some signs going up, which, you know, again, they don't look particularly nice when you tell people not to go to the toilet on your driveway, but we don't know what else to do.
No, well, that's fair enough. I think you have to start thinking about your own health and safety, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. These days, unfortunately, you do.
Yeah. Well, Terry Everett, I just hope that people's behaviour improves and people can actually stop this kind of behaviour before they enter into it.
Yeah. It's all about being responsible for yourself. And,
that's right.
And the enjoyment of others, I think. So everybody have a lovely holiday, and yeah, just remember that.
Yeah.
A shortage of volunteers has meant that Sport Tasman has put out a call for volunteers who are required to ensure the forthcoming one-day cricket international between New Zealand and Sri Lanka at Saxton Oval runs smoothly. So far, Sport Tasman has secured the services of 62 people for the day, but needs another 10 for the match, which is just a week away on January the 20th. This match is shaping up as a sellout and will be an ideal preparation for the 3 Cricket World Cup clashes at the ground in February and March. Hayden Bryant of Sport Tasman said many of the volunteers will also be working during the World Cup matches, but more are needed for the Sri Lankan match to help out with general duties. In return, they will be supplied with shirts and food and will in turn get to watch some of the game. There will also be a thank you function and a debrief at a later date for them. Sport Tasman is well versed in organising volunteers for such events, having done so for Super Rugby, South Island Masters Games and the Weet-Bix Triathlon for more than 20 years. If you want to volunteer, please contact Hayden Bryant by phoning 546 7910 or email Richard Hayward at richard@nelsoncricket.org.nz. A prominent building in Nelson CBD is currently under threat by the new rules and standards governing earthquake strengthening brought in by Nelson City Council since the Christchurch earthquake. The Tratham family owns the building in Trafalgar Street, where it initially housed Nelson's biggest department store, owned and run by the family. The building has previously undergone some strengthening work, which was deemed to be sufficient until the fatally destructive 2010 Christchurch earthquake. Now further strengthening or the demolition of the building is required by the 2019 deadline. Tratham Properties CEO Michelle Tratham has said that they will be looking at their options and will have a decision made within months on the property's future. Currently the building houses Nelson Camera and the Robert Harris Cafe, with the upstairs floor remaining vacant. I went out to the street to ask people their thoughts on the building's future, and we found one person who remembered the department store. Tratham's department store has until 2019 to earthquake strengthen their building. Do you think it should be saved or pulled down?
No, I think they should definitely save it. I've always loved old buildings, old style buildings. I clean 3 mornings a week at the cathedral, and it would break my heart to see that come down. And I also love historic places out in Stoke, like Broad Green and Dysel houses and parks.
Yeah.
So,
well, look at that. I mean, it's precious, it's beautiful. I love the rounded windows, I love the frontage. When I'm walking this side of the street, that building makes me smile.
They're not going to put the money into it, just tear it down, you know.
So, just for the safety of it?
Yeah, absolutely. It could happen now. We could be here and in like 2 minutes later they'd all be screaming and there'd be blood everywhere. And
it's a really nice building. Now that I have seen it, I would rather it be around, same as this one back here and some of the others around Nelson and Motueka. They're part of our heritage. It's just like Napier. Napier wouldn't be Napier without its Art Deco. So what would Nelson be without its nice brick and beautiful foliage around?
I mean, it's great to look at, but if we do have an earthquake and there is a risk to lives, then I think to pull it down is good. I mean, they do ways to commemorate buildings, so I think, if they can't earthquake safe it, then definitely pull it down for the sake of lives. Yeah.
Do you remember when it was a department store?
Yeah.
And you went there and
way
went
back.
shopping?
Way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But her name was Ivy Bibberstein, and she was 84 years old. She looked about 30, and she's gone to America teaching dancing, and that was her first studio.
Excellent.
it's beautiful. They should strengthen it. They should just put the money into it. You know, the old buildings. I love the old buildings. It was the bit of Christchurch that I loved. I was living there 3.5 years, and I'd meet my daughter once a week, and we'd go around and say, oh, isn't that beautiful? But would they ever look after it? It was so run down, you know, a lot of it. And then it fell down, and it was so sad.
A 40-year-old unemployed Motueka man has been arrested after the Police Armed Defenders Squad and CIB executed a search warrant at a Woodlands Ave Motueka address late last week. The arrest is in connection to an incident on Saturday, January the 3rd, in which shots were fired at another house in Woodlands Ave. Although items have been seized at the address, no firearms have yet been located. Detective Senior Sergeant Craig Johnston said police were confident more than one person had been involved in the offending, and inquiries were ongoing to identify others involved. He said the police are continuing to receive good information from members of the public, which they are following up. He wanted to assure the people of Motueka that police are devoting all available resources to investigating this matter and bringing the offenders before the court. I also encourage anyone who sees suspicious activity to contact police immediately by calling 111 so we can prevent further incidents of this nature, he said. Detective Senior Sergeant Johnston said police had increased patrols in the area since the incident, and these will be ongoing. The safety of Motueka residents is our paramount concern, and this sort of reckless behaviour will not be tolerated. The 40-year-old Motueka man was charged with careless use of a firearm and unlawful carriage of a firearm in public. Figures released last week show that Nelson region, which interestingly seems to include Tasman in this report, is one of the 2 South Island regions recording the highest growth rates in the country through the Paymart network in December. Otago took the lead with an 8.5% increase on December 2013, with the Nelson region following closely behind, up by 8.2%. Our local economies received a boost of 9 million last month, with shoppers ringing up 112 million compared to 103 million in December last year. A total of $5.3 billion was spent via Paymark's New Zealand network during the busiest month of the year, up $300 million on December 2013, showing 5.4% growth. During 2014, Paymark recorded the highest growth rate in spending since 2007, processing transactions with a value of $52.3 billion, up 6.6% on the previous year. Paymark's Head of Customer Relations, Mark Spicer, says that national growth is strong, given that low fuel prices will be having some impact. He said that the strong growth in Otago and Nelson could reflect a combination of factors, with both regions home to popular tourism hotspots, attracting both domestic and international visitors. Additionally, Paymark have seen strong and consistent growth in the accommodation, food and beverage sectors throughout last year. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.